Can you imagine a woman approaching you and saying, "Because of you and your movie, I became a hooker"? For decades, Richard Gere has mesmerized Hollywood with his handsome looks and incredible talent. However, fans were recently shocked by a revelation he made at 75. Gere mentioned that there was a special woman in his life whom he considered the love of his life. Curious to know more? Before we delve into this heartfelt confession, let's explore Richard Gere's early years and his colorful romantic history. Richard Gere, born on August 31, 1949, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, was the second of 5 children. He attended the University of Pennsylvania. His parents, Doris Anna Tiffany and Homer George Gere, were descendants of the Mayflower settlers. The fact that he played instruments and composed music for school performances was the driving force behind the development of his career. After completing high school, however, he took a different path. In spite of the fact that he was a gymnastics scholar at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst and a philosophy major, Gere couldn't shake the feeling that he wanted to be an actor. Once he had completed his 2 years of study, he was offered the lead role in the production of Grease, which was shown in London in the year 1973. Among the other plays he performed, one of them was Taming of the Shrew, which was beneficial to his acting career. Report to the Commissioner was the first picture that Gere ever directed. During the year 1977, he was cast in the film Looking for Mr. Goodbar, and the following year, he appeared in Days of Heaven, American Gigolo, which came out before the film was released. The experience of working on the set of the film, An Officer and a Gentleman, was more akin to him being cast as a contender for a position in the Navy. Because of his roles in films such as Pretty Woman, Primal Fear, and Runaway Bride, his career took off and became extremely successful. In addition, he was awarded prestigious accolades such as the Golden Globe for his work in the film Chicago in the year 2002. Gere received recognitions that demonstrated his relevance in the film business over the course of his years working in the profession. Several accolades, including the Primetime Emmy Award and a few Golden Globes, have been put forward for consideration for him. Additionally, he was recognized by Individuals magazine as one of the 50 most beautiful individuals in the world, which earned him an award. Because of this, he has been photographed for the cover of a number of different publications. There were obstacles in the way of Gere's rise to popularity. However, he encountered several difficulties along the way. In spite of the fact that he achieved early success with the film Looking for Mr. Goodbar, which was released in 1977, Gere still had several setbacks. Following a disagreement with his co-star Sylvester Stallone, he was temporarily removed from his role in The Lords of Flatbush, which was one of the episodes. In Bent, which was released in the late 1970s, he played the part of a gay victim of the Holocaust. In that age, society was not as accepting of persons who identify as LGBTQ+ as it is today. This is in contrast to the current political climate. The adoption of this kind of unorthodox work was a hazardous choice, and it may result in negative feedback or criticism. Both of these outcomes are possible. In the event that it was not well received or perceived as a contentious option, it had the potential to wreck his career. On the other hand, his performance in Bent demonstrated how adaptable he was and how far he was willing to compromise. It demonstrated his commitment to covering a wide range of topics and providing a deeper level of complexity to the characters. The films American Gigolo, which was released in 1980, and An Officer and a Gentleman, which was released in 1982, each had their share of challenges. Due to the fact that the film was a commercial success, it was a challenging task to choose parts that would resonate with the public. Throughout his career, he was confronted with a significant challenge as he attempted to strike a balance between achieving commercial success and achieving creative fulfillment. Not only did Richard Gere have to deal with these external concerns, but he also had to deal with the internal troubles that presented themselves in his personal life. The notoriety that he gained from his extramarital encounters, in addition to the countless relationships he had a significant role in both his personal life and his flourishing professional life. He was in a relationship with Penelope Milford, an actress, for a period of 7 years, beginning in 1971 and ending in 1978. The early to late 1970s were the years that they spent together. While this particular relationship was just one of the chapters, Gere was also involved in a number of other short-term romances during that time period. One such illustration of this is his relationship with the Brazilian painter Silva Martins, which lasted from the late 1970s to the middle of the 1980s. Gere's trip to Nepal in 1978 with the purpose of meeting Tibetan monks and lamas was spurred by his contact with Martins, which he had already established. He became a practicing Tibetan Buddhist, specifically of the Gelugpa school, and a staunch admirer of the Dalai Lama as a result of this turning moment in his life, which decided his interest in Buddhism and drove him to become a Buddhist practitioner. However, Gere's romantic life did not come to a stop at that point. 2 years after his relationship with Silva ended, he had a romantic relationship with Tuesday Weld, an American actress. She was a retired actress who was well known for her roles in both film and television. Weld's birth name was Susan Kerr Weld. They were only allowed to participate in that particular year. Carol Mallory, who had a career as a model and actress in the early 1970s, was another person with whom Richard Gere shared similar feelings. The year 1970 marked the beginning of their partnership, which lasted until 1975. Gere's personal life was marked by yet another significant chapter during the time he spent with Mallory. The novel Picasso's Ghost was written by Mallory, who is most known for her career in modeling and acting. In the book, she recounted her experience with Gere. It was a confirmation of his adaptability, sensitivity, and kindness that she referred to him as a legendary and wonderful lover. Gere's image as a captivating sex symbol who continues to cast his spell on his lovers is strengthened by this representation. The relationship between Gere and Dawn Steele lasted from 1975 till 1978. This was part of Gere's ongoing dating behavior. The time period in question was significant because Steele would go on to achieve success as a Hollywood executive, so establishing herself as a notable player in the film industry. During the time that they were together, Steele was still working to establish her own film career. Already well on her way to become a successful professional, she had already established a company with her first husband and had experimented with a variety of business enterprises. Due to the fact that Steele's connection with Gere was coming to an end at the same time as her professional involvement in the film industry was beginning to take off, this relationship functioned as an informal introduction to Hollywood for Steele. It was in 1978, when Steele got a position at Paramount Pictures as director of merchandising, that she began to make significant progress in her Hollywood career. She became the first woman to lead a major motion picture company in the United States of America as a result of this role, which took her to the forefront of various significant films and eventually led her to the presidency of Columbia Pictures. While Gere was attempting to further his acting career and artistic interests in the middle to late 1970s, his engagement with Steele, which lasted just from 1975 to 1978, was a significant part of his life. In addition to this, it emphasizes Gere's ties within the film industry, while also highlighting Steele's potential for future prominence. Priscilla Presley and Gere are said to have shared a private moment together. Gere's dating life, on the other hand, continued to be lively. Another name that has been associated to him is Priscilla Presley. However, it is said that their relationship was just brief and occurred in 1983. Presley is said to have admitted to having a one-night fling with Gere, as stated in a tell-all autobiography written by Mike Edwards, who was Priscilla's former lover. Edwards asserted that Priscilla disclosed this information during a chat, namely by stating, "Oh, he is a wonderful man." I asked, "Have you ever had sexual relations with him?" As a result, she responded, "Yes, we did." My response was, "How many times?" In addition, she stated, "Just once." I asked, "What exactly took place?" "We met at a party, and we just clicked," she added. "We were a perfect match." The night finished with us sharing a bed together, and we had a wonderful time. A reinforcement of Gere's flirty lifestyle is provided by Edwards' statement, and the fact that their connection was classified demonstrates how classified Gere could be in a relationship by demonstrating how he might be in a relationship. Complications in the marriage of Cindy Crawford. A renowned love affair between Richard Gere and supermodel Cindy Crawford began to garner public attention in the 1990s, marking the continuation of Richard Gere's romantic pursuits into the 20th century. The first time he ever met Cindy was in 1988, when he went to a BBQ that was hosted by photographer Richard Ritz. Crawford, who was only 22 years old at the time, was still a rising star in the fashion world. She had appeared on the pages of Vogue and led campaigns for major brands such as Calvin Klein, Pepsi, and Revlon. Gere was already a household name at that time, due to films such as Pretty Woman. A spark was kindled between them, despite the fact that they were of different ages and came from different backgrounds. Almost immediately, they began dating and eventually moved in together in New York City, all the while maintaining the confidentiality of their relationship. These two individuals decided to travel together to India and Nepal, since they both had a strong interest in Buddhism and meditation. The fact that Crawford acknowledged Gere's influence, as well as his age and expertise, was the impetus for her to move away from the high fashion elite and adopt a more strategic approach to her professional life. A move that was as impromptu as their relationship. Gere and Crawford eloped in Las Vegas in the month of December in the year 1991. The wedding, which took place at the Little Church of the West, was uncomplicated and took place at the 11th hour. Crawford recalled that Gere had suggested having the ceremony in Vegas that evening, and that the ceremony itself was unorthodox. She donned a navy blue Armani suit and a tinfoil ring, which symbolized the spontaneous character of the event that she was attending. Their marriage was a momentous occasion in both of their lives, despite the fact that it began in an unexpected manner. On the other hand, their marital union was not without its difficulties. Their divorce in 1995, which occurred after 4 years of marriage, was a result of their busy occupations, different lives, and, of course, different priorities. The fact that Gere and Crawford are still remembered as one of the most iconic couples of the 1990s, despite the fact that they broke up, is evidence of the fact that they enjoyed a considerable amount of success and glamour throughout their time together. A controversial partner in Laura Bailey. During the same time period, Gere maintained his activities in the love realm with the English model Laura Bailey. Their relationship began at a time when Bailey's career in the modeling profession was flourishing. At the time, she was well known for her appearances on the covers of the most prominent fashion magazines. This relationship with Gere had an impact on her since it brought attention not only to her, but also to the challenges that they were trying to overcome. Gere, who was 45 years old at the time, was a significant age difference from Bailey, who was only 20 years old. And to make matters even more confusing, Gere was still married to the American model Cindy Crawford at the time that his connection with Bailey became public knowledge. Despite the challenges that she faced, Bailey's modeling remained to be a successful endeavor. The fact that she was associated with Richard Gere was just one aspect of her personal and professional life, which also included a great deal of success in the fashion industry and connections with other notable figures such as Gary Oldman and Richard Gere. Later on, she decided to focus more on her acting and writing careers. Therefore, she reduced her time spent modeling. The story of Richard Gere and Laura Bailey, a couple who were together for a brief period of time and were subjected to some demands from the outside world, as well as a busy public gaze, was a chapter that was significant in the lives of both of them. There is a turbulent relationship with Carey. Nevertheless, Gere's amorous history goes beyond this particular instance. Following the end of his relationship with Cindy Crawford, Carey Lowell successfully assumed the position of his girlfriend. Even though they had been together for more than 10 years, the unfortunate part is that they ended up divorcing, which was a really unpleasant experience. Following his divorce from Cindy Crawford in 1995, Gere and Carey initially met in the 1990s and went on to get married in 2002. This was 7 years after their divorce. Homer James Jigme Gere, the lone son of the family, was born in the year 2000, contrary to what was previously said. Nevertheless, the fact that they came from different backgrounds and desired different things was another factor that played a role in the development of their relationship. In view of the fact that Gere is a sensitive individual, he was opposed to Lowell's intentions for a more open and honest relationship. In September of 2013, Gere and Lowell, who had been happily married for 11 years, made the decision to initiate the divorce process. As a result of the couple's disagreements regarding assets and Gere's estimated $45 million wealth, the subsequent legal proceedings for divorce were exceptionally drawn out and difficult to understand. Despite the fact that they were so different from one another, they decided to co-parent their son, Homer, right away. After exactly 3 years of separation, the divorce processes were finally finalized in 2016, marking the conclusion of the legal proceedings. The contents of the settlement were kept a secret despite the fact that the couple had been in and out of court on multiple occasions in an effort to find a solution to the financial problems that had emerged as a result of their divorce. The divorce did not stop her from continuing her acting career, as she was cast in a number of films and television series. In addition to his tumultuous relationship with Padma Lakshmi, Richard Gere's romantic life continued. Evidently, he was romantically involved with Padma Lakshmi, a model and host of Bravo's Top Chef, in the year 2014. During the 6 months that he was involved in a romantic relationship, he kept images of the two of them apart. The breakup was amicable, and they made the decision to continue their friendship after its conclusion. When Gere first met Lakshmi, he had recently ended his relationship with Carey Lowell, his wife of 11 years. However, he did not immediately fall into the relationship's embrace. In addition to having major ties with Salman Rushdie and a long-term partnership with Mr. Teddy Forstmann, who passed away in the beginning of 2011, Lakshmi was the mother of a daughter named Krishna, who was 4 years old. Both Gere and Lakshmi placed a significant amount of importance on their relationship, despite the fact that it was brief. This is especially true when one considers the current divorce proceedings between Gere and Lowell, the turn of events that occurred when Alejandra Silva was introduced. Richard Gere was prepared for a more favorable turn of events. In 2014, he became acquainted with Alejandra Silva, a Spanish activist who would later become his wife. When Gere borrowed a boat from Silva's father for a project, it was the beginning of their relationship, which began more than a decade earlier. However, it wasn't until 2014 that they would actually come into contact with one another in a luxurious Italian hotel that Silva's family owned. Hola magazine published an interview with Alejandra Silva in 2016, in which she discussed their connection in an open and honest manner. Silva is characterized as a mother and activist who was born in Galicia. The connection between Gere and Silva blossomed rapidly despite the fact that they were 33 years apart in age. It began quickly after their first encounter and remained secretive for a number of years. As a result of her schooling at Lewiston School in Dorset and the fact that her father had previously served as vice president of Real Madrid, Alejandra has a history that is connected to the club. There was a time when it was speculated that she had a brief relationship with Roberto Carlos, the great left-back for Real Madrid. When she found herself in the company of Gere during the process of her divorce from her first husband, Govind Friedland, who was the son of the American mining billionaire Robert Friedland, she experienced a change in her feelings. Over the course of time, their friendship developed to the point that it led to the revelation of their relationship to the general public in June of 2015. They came to the conclusion that they would keep their relationship a secret until the moment when they discreetly tied the knot in April of 2018. 3 months after their wedding, Silva wrote in an Instagram post, "While we are going through this path and suffering the various ups and downs of life, we aspire to transform them into the path of love, compassion, joy, and equanimity." This was written before the couple had been married for 3 months. Not only did Richard find love, but he also found a partner who shared his beliefs and ideals. Richard is deeply committed to the cause of eliminating homelessness in Spain, and Silva is employed by a nonprofit that is working to accomplish this goal. Alejandra has been described as beautiful, intelligent, sensitive, committed to helping people, fun, patient, forgiving, a brilliant cook, and the maker of the best salads in the world by him. He has expressed extreme satisfaction over his marriage to Alejandra. In turn, Silva has the impression that she is living a fantasy tale. She is extremely effusive about her spouse, praising him as the most modest, sensitive, kind, attentive, hilarious, and generous man that I have ever had the pleasure of meeting. Their relationship appears to be rather profound, as evidenced by the fact that Richard composes songs for her on a regular basis and reminds her of the significance she holds in his life. After they got married, he continued this custom by sending her flowers every day until she agreed to go on a date. After that, he continued to serenade her every day she was married. Although they had known each other for many years, Richard Gere and Alejandra Silva were both going through divorces at the time that they reconnected with one another. There was a big age gap between them, but they still managed to form a deep connection. When Silva was asked about the obstacles, he responded by noting that love stories that have a tough beginning, in which the couple must face difficulties together, can bring them closer together. There was a time when I was certain that I had some reservations. Even though he was more persuaded than I was at first, we both had the feeling that we were intended to be together from the very beginning of our relationship. This provides further evidence that they have a profound fondness for one another. When asked about their enormous age gap, Silva responded to Hola by saying, "I'm not ignoring our age difference and what it means to be with a Hollywood star. But when there's such a strong karmic energy, the problems disappear." Further strengthening their connection was the fact that they both had a passion for helping others. Silva is fighting against homelessness in Spain through her charity, which is called the Raise Charity. Gere, on the other hand, is fighting against HIV and AIDS while protecting Tibetan culture. Without a doubt, the relationship between them is strengthened by these common ideals. During an interview with Hola in 2015, Silva freely said that she had slept on the street in order to gain a better understanding of the challenges faced by the homeless. She also stated that she was not afraid to roll up her sleeves and get to work. In addition, she reaffirmed that whenever she completes a task, she always gives it her absolute best effort. It is more likely that she will not do it if she is unable to. Their first child together, a baby boy named Alexander, was born in 2019, marking the beginning of their family. Because they had both already been married and had children from previous marriages, this was a momentous occasion. They were overjoyed to share the news that their second child would be arriving the following year, in the year 2020. Silva has noticed the powerful karmic energy that assists people in navigating and resolving their concerns, despite the difficulties that are inherent in a relationship with a Hollywood star. The two of them currently make their home on a ranch in New York, where they treasure the time they spend together in privacy. Despite the fact that he was an adult, Richard Gere demonstrated that love can come knocking on your door at any point in your life. The fact that he was able to locate his ideal spouse in Alejandra Silva allowed him to demonstrate a loving and caring side of himself. Despite the fact that Gere has been married 3 times previously, he has discovered a profound connection with Silva, demonstrating that love can flourish at any age if the proper person is met. And on Saturday, during one of the Christmas holidays, Silva shared a cute family photo on Instagram in order to send holiday greetings to her friends and followers. "Our family wishes you a joyous Christmas from ours to yours," she said. She included a description to the picture, which depicted her and her cherished husband standing on a dock with their 2 sons, looking out over a small lagoon area. At the time of the photograph, Silva was dressed in a beautiful golden maxi dress, while the boys were wearing a pair of blue Crocs that matched each other, along with shorts and t-shirts. Gere made the decision to dress his children in a casual manner. There is another instance in which Silva gives a glimpse of their family taking a stroll outside and enjoying the fresh air. In the scenario that takes place during the autumn season, Gere and Silva lift their hands in the air, so generating big shadows on the ground for Alexander to admire. Alexander imitates the move by extending his arms to study his own shadow on the sidewalk. The picture was captioned by Silva with the words, "Daddy, Mommy, and Alexander." A few weeks after that, Silva shared a very significant moment for our family. She took a picture with her husband in front of an American flag after he had formally become a citizen of the federal government of the United States. The unshakable support that Gere and Silva constantly provide for one another is one of the most endearing features of their relationship. In addition to attending events together, such as the unusual public appearance, they were able to make it to the 2024 City Harvest Gala, which took place not too long ago. On the 10th of April, they were present at the event that took place at Cipriani 42nd Street in New York City. Additionally, they are well known for sharing moments on social media or for supporting one another when they are going through difficult emotions. They are always there for one another when they need them. Their public demonstrations of affection and encouragement are evidence of a profound connection that is founded on mutual appreciation and respect for one another. There is a strong emphasis placed on family in the relationship between Gere and Silva. In light of the fact that they are the parents of 2 young sons and Silva's son from a previous marriage, they place a high focus on their family and make sure that their children are raised in an environment that is both caring and nurturing. Their dedication to parenting, the creation of memories that will last a lifetime, and the development of a sense of togetherness is proof of the values they hold for their family. Despite the fact that Gere and Silva's relationship is characterized by a high level of mutual respect and regard, They frequently express their love and appreciation for one another in interviews and on their social media posts. They also discuss the qualities that they admire in their partners. It is evidence that they have a strong emotional connection and a genuine appreciation for one another's qualities and virtues, that they have made public confessions of love and admiration for one another. Throughout the course of their relationship, Gere and Silva grow and develop together, providing encouragement to one another when they are going through challenging times and celebrating their successes together. This journey that they are experiencing together as a couple is marked by significant personal development, joint endeavors, and a growing attachment that will last for the rest of their lives. The depth of their love and friendship is demonstrated by the fact that they are committed to looking out for each other's growth and happiness. In conclusion, their partnership is a gorgeous tapestry that is weaved with the strands of love, respect, shared ideals, and a great emotional connection between the two of them. Their commitment to one another, to their family, and to the journey they are taking together is a representation of the most tender aspects of their relationship, which is founded on love, support, and joy. This is what allows their relationship to flourish and serves as an example to those who are situated in their immediate vicinity. We sincerely hope that you had a wonderful time learning about the charming love tale that Gere shared with Alejandra Silva. Just now is the main content of today's video. We hope it has sparked your curiosity and left you with new perspectives. Remember, each story we explore adds another layer to our understanding of the world around us. Who knew Hollywood's golden age had so many secrets? Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content.